Welcome back into the Personal Foul Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Gessler. Alongside me with his garbage Wi-Fi, per usual, it is Phil Sitta. How the hell are you, sir?
Unfortunately, I've been a little better. We had a death in our little Whiting family yesterday. I don't know if you heard. There was an accident out on Pasadena Mount Misery Road. Tim McKeever's son, Tim McKeever, who frequents the show a lot, his son passed, Jack. So, and he was a great kid. So I want to dedicate the show to him today, if that's all right with you. If we could do that. And I know we have a lot to do today, and I'm sorry to get this off on a solemn note, but I just wanted to, let that be known because Jack was a great kid, and he will definitely be missed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't realize. I saw that there was the accident down there. I didn't know who was involved in it. Yeah, that's a shame. So, absolutely. No issue dedicating the show to him this week. Also, to kind of, I guess, bring up the mood a little bit, I know the great Nate Brown, who tunes into the show, another man I know, Sean Hagan. Shout out to all the firefighters who were fighting the fire down there in Lacey that I think is under control now. So big shout out to those guys and the rest of the firefighters who were fighting that.
The fire chief himself.
Yes, you can't forget Ian Angle. And late again, sorry, Uncle John, we have to blame Phil and his crap Wi-Fi per usual for us getting off to a late start. But a big shout out to all the firefighters. I know there's another 2 fires, I think, going. I don't know what's going on with them. Again, I pay zero attention to the news, so I don't know what goes on around anything other than sports. So I know there's another fire going, so hopefully everyone stays safe fighting those fires. But I know they only lost Liberty Door was the only structure that was lost during the Lacey fire, which is incredible. So a big shout out to all the men and women who were fighting those fires and keeping us safe. So big shout out to all the firefighters. Yes, and we'll start to transition here into the world of sports. We'll start off with the draft. I know football kind of isn't the story right now. We got the NBA playoffs going on. We have the NHL playoffs going on. And of course, big shout out to Ray Trimble, who's going to be taking care of my father-in-law's house here with the Carpenter Bees. So big shout out to Ray Trimble, always tuning in on the show. But again, we'll start with the NFL draft. In the big story of the draft, I know it's probably repeating itself for a lot of people, and that would be the only Shedeur Sanders is kind of the main story of the NFL draft. With him falling as a first-round projection all the way down to the 4th round to the Cleveland Browns, selecting him along with Dylan Gabriel as well. What were your overall thoughts on that situation with Shedeur Sanders? I was kind of pissed that the Steelers didn't jump in the 4th round to get him. I know the baggage is pretty much why he fell in the draft. I think Dion and Shedeur kind of thought they can rewrite the way of the NFL draft and how this stuff works. Your thoughts? Like I said, that's kind of what I think is what happened. I think the NFL kind of sent a message. And also I think teams like where it was like linked with the Saints possibly taking him. The Steelers, not so much, whatever you want to do with it. But like the team like the Saints, there's always kind of been rumors that Prime wants to coach Shedeur in the NFL. So, like, if you're a new head coach in Kellen Moore, why in the hell would you take Shedeur Sanders looking at it that way if you want to look at it on that side of the coin where, okay, I'm going to take him and possibly, like, if we suck, I'm going to get fired in 2 years. If Shedeur's playing decent ball and the Saints want to give Dion a chance to coach him and see if they could turn this thing around, like, I'm already giving myself a fireable offense and already have my replacement in Dion to replace me as a head coach. I don't know if that would actually be the case. But that's another way teams could have looked at it going forward and certain head coaches. I just think he fell. I don't know what you think. I think he fell because they didn't take the process seriously. Kind of thought they could do it on their own, do it their own way, not do all the interviews and stuff, even though they're stupid, but not showing up to the combine, not doing this, that, and the other. I don't know what your thoughts were on why he fell, but I kind of think the NFL is kind of sending a message like, yeah, you still got to take it seriously. and do the process the right way and not blow it off and think it's all BS in the way you do it.
Well, to start off with, I found it funny that after he got drafted, that he fired his father as his agent and hired your friend Lee Steinberg, who you have interviewed before. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that,
Yes.
but I do know Lee Steinberg. It should have gotten more traction. I'm kind of pissed to interrupt you. When I interviewed Lee, the big story was going on with Tua and what the Dolphins were going to do with him. If they're going to trade him and all this, that, and the other. I'm trying to remember what player that the Dolphins wanted that they were going to. It was a quarterback. I'm trying to remember who it was. That they were going to deal Tua or like get rid of Tua. And we shut that down immediately. The Dolphins and this, that, and the other with heavy communication. It's a shame that was a small podcast because I had some legitimate news, but it was cool interviewing Lee Steinberg, who is Patrick Mahomes' agent. I believe he's still Mahomes' agent, so that's pretty cool.
But as going back to Sanders, I just thought it was an absolute joke that he fell to the 5th round. I mean, all right. Your Steelers, you passed them in the first. It took a terrible pick, by the way. Defensive tackles are an absolute joke in the first round. They're right there at running backs, and I'll get into that in a moment because Miami did the same damn thing. But to pass on, you didn't have a second-round pick, but to pass on him in round 3, and I forget, who'd you take him in round 3?
We took the running back, Johnson out of.
Yeah, I mean, come on, what are you doing there? You got to take Sanders there in round 3. You have no quarterback. You don't have Aaron Rodgers. I just thought that was an absolute terrible move by Pittsburgh. At least draft. He fell all the way to the 3rd round. The guy's a first-round talent. Let's not kid ourselves. He is accurate. He may not have the strongest arm in the world, but he's athletic and he is accurate. And I think that still goes a long way in the NFL. I mean, yeah, he was turned off by the whole Deion Sanders thing. And I actually felt bad for Shador with that whole nonsense with Jeff Ulbricht's kid. I mean, what are you doing videoing yourself, prank calling someone? Your dad's a coach in the NFL. I mean, where's the madness with this? But he's an ex-Jet coach, so what do you expect with something like that? But I actually felt bad for the kid, and he kept falling and falling. And he ended up with Cleveland, and I think he's going to end up being the starting quarterback there when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I thought Cleveland had a good draft. I didn't understand the Dylan Gabriel picks. Like the fact that they took Dylan Gabriel and you have Shador, I think that's kind of stupid. I think if Cleveland took another player instead of Dylan Gabriel, I think Cleveland would have an A++++ draft because you got the 3rd best player in the draft in Mason Graham. So you said what you want about the interior D linemen. They matter in this league.
He's different. He's
not different.
Compared to what you drafted and what I drafted, yeah.
No.
Oh,
you clearly don't watch enough college football. The kid the kid from Oregon's a stud, and so is Kenneth Grant. So sorry to break it to you. I know you like shitting on the Dolphins in their drafts.
Kenneth Grant couldn't catch 225 20 times.
Kenneth Grant is a stud. I hate to break it to you, but you'll see watching the Dolphins as you turn your tone watching them play.
Yeah, Nagama Kasu over here. Stop.
No, he's very good. So yes, Mason Graham stud, and then they trade back. By the way, what the hell is Jacksonville doing? Holy shit!
No clue.
For Travis Hunter, Travis Hunter, very good player. No shot.
You up a 1st round next year for him?
That's what I'm saying. Oh my goodness. So not shout out. F Cleveland. But
Cleveland, they did that all the time.
Credit's due. Cleveland with a hell of a draft, setting themselves up for a quarterback next year, and they'll probably suck this year, so they won't have to give up a lot. Hell, they might even be in the spot to draft whatever quarterback they want without having to trade up or anything. But if they have to, they have the assets to do it.
Yeah.
So
problem is no one's going to pass on Manning. Whoever gets number 1 pick.
It could be Cleveland. That's the thing. It could be Cleveland.
There'll be a lot of tanking this year in the NFL. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it's a better quarterback draft next year, so we'll see what happens.
It's a better draft overall. I mean, I couldn't get Gaga over this draft. This draft was terrible. It was like the NBA draft of last year. There's just no talent. I mean, there's some talent, but I mean, to go nuts over this.
Yeah, but there's nothing flashy. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of good D linemen. I know you can care less about D linemen. They matter. The Steelers got gashed in the playoffs because their run defense sucks. So they drafted interior guys, which are going to help. But they're not splashy picks. Like the McMillan kid out of Arizona, the first wide receiver off the board at like pick 9 or 10 to Carolina.
Yeah, it was not a good wide receiver draft.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a flashy draft. Quarterbacks or wideouts or running backs. You had a few tight ends. We'll see how that works. The Bears not taking the kid out of Penn State first. I do think Colton Loveland's very good. I know people were shitting on the Bears for taking Loveland and not the kid from Penn State. Loveland put up some good numbers with having no quarterback play last season.
To be fair, what the hell is Chicago doing drafting a tight end when they have command? They needed an offensive line. They should have took the kid that Miami took in round 2. I couldn't believe he fell that far. That was one of the good bright spots of the Dolphins draft.
Yeah, the kid out of
You've got to draft an offensive lineman if you're Chicago. That line is terrible.
Yeah, they're going to keep getting him weapons for him not to be able to have time to throw the ball. But, hey, that's Chicago for you. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, yeah, I thought Cleveland had the best draft. The Shedeur Sanders was the other story. Again, I thought Pittsburgh had a good draft. I wouldn't say great. I thought they could have hit a home run. I thought the Steelers could have had an A if they traded up in the 4th round to get Shedeur Sanders. No, you do that like face, but they got a very good running back, and they got one of the better interior linemen to follow them at 21. So I think if the Steelers end up getting Shedeur in the 4th instead of Jack Sawyer, F the Buckeyes, by the way, and F Will Howard, I thought the Steelers could have had an A draft if they went up and made the move and got Shedeur Sanders. I guess the Steelers didn't want to play politics. Also, I don't know how that quarterback room would look with Aaron Rodgers, Drama Queen, Ayahuasca, and you have the sideshow of Shedeur Sanders. I don't know how the hell that would gel in Pittsburgh.
Well, you sign Rodgers and you teach Sanders. I mean, that would have been the logic.
Yeah, but then you think Rodgers wants to teach Shedeur Sanders in that sideshow and the YouTube video?
Zach Wilson. And Miami will reap the reward this year.
They reap the reward. Number 0, Zach Wilson. But I know you probably want to talk Dolphins in their draft. So the floor is yours before we transition to a little puck playoffs and NBA playoffs. So we got
we got to talk about the Giants draft for a second. I thought they had a hell of a draft. I mean, they got Carter, Stavedo. I think that I probably butchered that name. And actually, Jackson Dart. I didn't think it was smart trading up for him, but they really didn't give up that much in capital. I don't see him being the future. I think he's Danny Dimes 2.0, in my opinion. But, the Giants did what they had to do, and I thought they had a really good draft. The Jets had a terrible draft. The one thing that really infuriated me is they drafted Jason Taylor's son. So now Taylor's got a roof for the Jets. It makes him sick. The Eagles, once again, they had a hell of a draft. I mean, man, it's amazing how he's done since that whole Jalen Reagor debacle. He has drafted well, ever since. What do you got? Campbell, got the best cornerback in the draft, I think. The linebacker, I love that linebacker. I forget you're going to put him next to Vaughn. I mean, their defense actually got better, which, is kind of scary to think. So Philly's going to be right there. Who else had I thought Carolina had a good draft too. But McKinnon, they got Etienne in the 5th round. It's Carolina, ho hum. But if we're gonna grade everyone overall, I thought they had a decent draft. But all in all, I just couldn't get gaga over this draft. It was nothing that I could really, go, wow, way to go. Outside of Miami drafting out offensive lineman Saliamula, whatever the hell his name is. I hated the defensive linemen. Defensive linemen and running backs to me are just, why are you taking them in the 1st round? Unless they're a top, going to be a Hall of Famer like a Sue or, one of those type of guys. Otherwise, why are you drafting them? Like I can see why Oakland drafted GT. They had to draft him. He was.
God, I'm so glad you and Rick are sitting together. You guys can just butcher names at the same table together.
Wait, Rick's going to your wedding?
Yeah, Rick's going to my wedding.
I'm not sitting at his table. I thought I was sitting at the family table.
You're sitting with freaking Rick. And you're sitting with John Mayer. John Mayer in the comments.
Oh, I'm going to sit with John Mayer? John got boosted. He got relegated to the B section. That's right. You can go sit with Arnie Lauer out in the parking lot. But, the NFL draft, everyone, got so hyped over this, and I'm just like, why? I wasn't wasting my time with this draft. I just didn't think it was a great draft. Next year will be a better draft.
Yeah, I could have given a rat's ass. I'm also just pissed about the Steelers going into the season, to be honest. I got to do a Steelers show after this.
Well, if you need a guest host, please let me know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. You ain't
I've been on that.
So I'll be on Instagram on SteelerNation.com doing a Steelers reaction to the draft after this show. Actually, right after, pretty much.
Oh, I might have to watch.
But, yeah, this draft sucked. I'm not looking forward to the Steelers season. To begin with, we'll talk more football as the offseason continues, but I had to talk draft. I actually think we talked draft. I think we talked draft a little too much, actually, because I could give a rat's ass about it. Yeah. But now we'll talk some puck, and we'll talk some NBA playoffs, and then we'll touch just a little bit on baseball. I can care less about baseball. Also, with everything going on with the playoffs. We'll start off with the NBA playoffs, and we'll start off with the big story of the NBA playoffs. I see you smiling. That's fine. It'd be the Los Angeles Lakers right now down 3-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think
what was your prediction last week?
I thought the Lakers, what'd I say, beat them in 5 or 6?
And they were going to the NBA Finals. Oh.
I still think the Lakers can get past Minnesota. 3-1. You shake your head. They got Luka and LeBron.
Just doesn't play defense, and it shows.
That's not the issue. The Lakers don't have the size. It's kind of the problem.
Well, that's because they traded Davis.
As they should. Anthony Davis sucks. This season is not about winning. This season isn't about winning.
If Davis is on the team right now, are they up 3-1 instead of down 3-1?
No, because you're taking Luka off in his scoring. No, they're getting their asses cleaned off the floor with Anthony Davis. Cleaned off.
All right. I disagree with you, but okay.
Not even close. No, Anthony Davis does not score enough in the postseason. He'll score like 14 points in the first quarter, but holy shit, Anthony Davis is finally going to take the balls of this team and like, this is my team now. Nah, and then fourth quarter he disappears. They're going to get
nobody's rebounding on the Lakers right now.
Yeah, correct. Jackson, that was their problem. But the same token, I'm fine with it. This season wasn't about winning a title. I thought going in the way they were playing, I'm like, ooh, this team could win a title or like at least get to the finals. You like who. The problem is they don't have a good first round matchup. Julius Randle is playing out of his mind. I'll tip my cap to the guy. He's playing really, really well for Minnesota. From the guy that couldn't do shit in the playoffs for the Knicks and came up small, he's playing very well, and he's efficient from the floor. I can't believe how well Julius Randle's playing. So I'll tip my cap.
Because he's not the A guy. He's not an A player, as he tried to be on the Knicks. He's a Scottie Pippen. He's a B+ player.
Which is fine. What you need in this league.
Yeah,
so, and
exactly.
He's been everything I think they could ask for. Jaden McDaniel is playing good defense on Luka at times.
Yes.
LeBron no-showed in the fourth quarter. I've been a big LeBron guy, especially I performed in game 2 or game 3. God, he fucking took over that game. You'll never see Jordan do a performance like that at that age. But then he shows up in game 4 and has nothing in the fourth quarter. Unfortunate.
And this is a little dig at my son while I'm out here. What'd you think of LeBron dropping the ball there in game 2 and then trying to look for a foul call?
You're talking about the covering his eye and looking up. That's the league today. That's the league today. I know everyone, all the LeBron haters. That's what it is. So you insert MJ into this league, it's the same stuff. It's the same. No. They're both. Yeah, it is though. He's gonna be looking for fouls too, and it's just the name of the game. Because guess what? Anthony Edwards does the same thing, and Anthony Edwards is an absolute dog. And that old fashioned where he's not buddy with everyone in this league.
No,
he does not give a shit. He's gonna talk shit to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I love Anthony Edwards, and I would trade a lot of things for Anthony Edwards in this league. There's probably 3 guys I would trade a lot for in this league. Anthony Edwards is one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is another, and honestly, the other guy is probably Jason Tatum. I would give a lot for.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know who I would trade the farm for. It'd be those 3 guys. Anthony Edwards is a bona fide superstar in this league. It'd be cool for Minnesota to be able to keep a guy like that in a small market. But he's an absolute stud. Not a huge 3-point shooter, but man, he's made some big shots from deep in this series for Minnesota. So Anthony Edwards is an absolute stud, an old-fashioned. But, yeah, take the shots at LeBron all you want. It's the way the league's going. LeBron would thrive in the 90s like MJ did. He would. Just the body he's got, the frame, he would survive. So everyone's like, oh, he would be.
Let's not kid ourselves. LeBron can play in any era.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what matters? The old heads that bitch and moan like, oh, how soft LeBron is. It's the problem is the league is what it is now. So he's gonna act like it. He's gonna act like he's built. He's ginormous. And the way he takes care of his body, how much money he puts into his body, he would survive in any era and he would dominate any era. His game's developed. He would be disgusting in the same era against the plumbers that MJ was going against. So don't kid yourself, folks. But, I was disappointed with how he showed up in Game 4 in the fourth quarter. No-showed. But the same token, they have no size. They have no legitimate center. That's why they tried going out and getting a center. Shut up, Uncle John. Kiss my ass. Freaking idiot.
That's right.
The problem is with the Lakers, they have no center, and it's biting them in the ass right now. But enough about the Lakers. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, my goodness. Ray's got me distracted. It looks like he does have new furniture, Ray. What's it called? Cleveland taking care of business, taking care of the Miami Heat. They suck.
We got to get into that.
Bum of the week, the Miami Heat and their expulsion company.
They were actually, he's not my bum of the week. My bum of the week is Mr. President himself, Silver. What an absolute joke these NBA playoffs have been. I mean, you've had maybe, 2 or 3 good games in these playoffs? There's something wrong when a 7th seed like Golden State, who had to play in the play-in, is favored over Houston and are beating them. Miami's an absolute no-show. I mean, they had 55 points, right? What was the final score last night? I mean, it's something ridiculous. They lost. It was a record set yesterday. They obviously were ready for the golf course. The playoffs are an absolute joke. The NBA needs to do something. The regular season means nothing now. If Silver cares, he would drop the playoffs to 6 teams, give 1 and 2 a bye, play 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, make the regular season mean something. You'll watch these guys get tough again all of a sudden. It would make the NBA watchable. To have these guys just coast through the playoffs, I mean, the only good series is really the Clippers and the Nuggets. Everything else is garbage. I mean, Giannis, he's on his way out. He's ready for the golf course. They're down 3-1. I mean, there's going to be no stars in this playoffs. You're going to have Minnesota. You're going to have OKC. You're going to have Indiana. And speaking of which, the Pistons got absolutely screwed on Sunday. What an absolute joke that was. I mean, Stevie Wonder saw that foul. That's how bad that was. How do you not call that? That series should be tied 2-2. So the Knicks are going to get a cakewalk because they got to have the Knicks in because the NBA playoffs have just been an absolute disgrace. But yes, Adam Silver, you are my absolute bum of the week. Fix your damn league ASAP.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. It is a shit show because you have all these teams in, and the thing is you have the play-in, what allows 10 teams in. So you've lost like what's been your big thing, like where the NFL really doesn't have a big trade deadline because teams aren't really going to trade their stars with adding the extra playoff spot. And the teams that do suck, we don't have any star players to deal to begin with. And then you have the NBA where it was kind of their thing was the buyout market from the shit teams cutting their like better players for the good teams to scalpel. And
that's got to end too.
Well, what do you mean?
They got to stop buying out players and then letting these guys go on to other teams.
Well, teams don't do it anymore. Teams don't do it anymore. Teams don't do it anymore because the 10th seed in the play-in tournament. So there is no trade deadline and there is no buyout market anymore. Teams don't cut players anymore.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem with the league. So I actually agree with you for once on this, and I think they have to shorten it. If you want to do the play-in tournament bullshit, then have it at 8. Have the 7 and 8 seed try to fight their ass into the playoffs or whatever.
Get rid of it
because it's a shit show.
Go back to 6. Make the season mean something again. Because I mean, really, why watch the NBA when you know most likely your team's going to be in the playoffs? And if they're not, they're that bad, like the Knicks and the Sixers with all their injuries and stuff like that. It's really just becoming unwatchable now, and especially that atrocious playoff game last night. And then the good playoff games. You got Denver and the Clippers you can't watch because they don't start until 10:30. That's an absolute joke as well. I mean, it's just gotten really, really bad. It sucks, unfortunately, but I digress.
Yeah, it is a shit show. So again, we'll work our way to some puck now.
Yes.
Locals, Devils down 3-1. Disappointing loss the other day. They go down 3-0. Try to scrap their way back into it. Cannot find the game tying goal. It's unfortunate. They just cannot find the goals. And
They misuse.
Oh, they absolutely misuse.
Yeah.
The problem is he's always out, so that's kind of the problem. So, and the Devils didn't really do anything at the deadline to try to add more goals to their roster. They kind of went more defense.
Yes.
And Cody Glass, like on one faceoff, so that really doesn't do dick all for you. So it's unfortunate. Markstrom's been great, but he lets up a squeaker to go down 4-2 in that game, and then an empty netter later on to ice the game. But it's been unfortunate. We'll see what happens. They have a lot of guys out again tonight. I think Siegenthaler's out tonight. Pesci's out possibly tonight as well. So you can put a nail in the coffin for the Devils. It's been unfortunate. They've actually played very well in the series outside of game one. They've showed life in the series, but they just don't have the goals. Carolina's that's been, I guess you can call my bum of the week, has been the Devils' power play. Holy God, it's been horrendous.
Yeah, they've morphed into the Islanders with the power play. They have been atrocious on the power play. Awful.
Yeah, it's bad. Awful. And the thing is with playoff hockey, like you're not going to get the perfect looks, even though it feels like Carolina has a lot of open looks on Markstrom, which is mind-boggling. But you got to get scrappy goals in the postseason. Throw the puck in the net, and yet the Devils are passing it around, having the extra pass for no reason. They have this stupid way of getting it into the zone where they're freaking all lined up on the blue line, trying to get the puck in, where it's like a fast break, kind of getting in it. Just dump the puck in and get on the
Islanders power play. It's what they're trying to be too finesse. It's a joke.
It's terrible. It's a terrible power play. And it's been the same. It doesn't matter if it's Sheldon Keefe as coach or it's Lindy Ruff as coach. It's the same power play where everyone's lined up on the blue line and it's trying to like get in, even though like everyone's stacked there, which means the defense is all stacked along there in the blue line. So you have no room to get the puck in. It's a shit show. The power play's been horrendous. They haven't scored once. I think they've had like 12 or 13 chances on it. And I think they've maybe had one good power play. It's like, oh, that's a good shift. A lot of pressure. Didn't get a goal, though, unfortunate. But like 1 out of 13 has been terrible from the Devils. So it's unfortunate.
You're not going to win.
Locals will probably be getting bounced out tonight. Yes. But, of course, I'll be watching my New Jersey Devils. But Florida Panthers, crazy comeback last night over the Lightning.
Comeback.
I know that's been your call early on when we did our projections on the postseason. That was going to be your team with adding the Rat and what's his name? Brad Marchand. So your thoughts on the NHL playoffs?
There was a horrible non-call last night in that second period. I forget who his name was. He gave the forearm to the Tampa Bay Fire, and there was no call. And I'm like,
the refs have been terrible. The refs have been like, I got it. They're swallowing the puck in the postseason, but God Almighty, if there's
you got to call that.
They don't call it. You know how many times I've watched the Devils series, and they gave Carolina a bullshit penalty in game one where there was like a trip, even though it was like a hip check, and they called it a tripping penalty. Yet I saw the same bullshit in game two on Carolina. Didn't call it. The refs have been terrible. Like, if you're going to call it one way, call it the same way, please.
They don't. That's the problem. They feel like when they're calling it. Like Friday night, I don't know if you saw this, the Oiler-Kings game where, what the hell is his name? He kicked the puck into the net, and then they went to replay, and they confirmed it was still a goal. And then the Kings should have been up 3-0. And instead, the series is tied 2-2. By the way, the West has had some great games. That Dallas-Colorado series, oh, my God. Dallas is up 3-2 in that. But, I mean, the NHL officiating, my God, Bettman, please fix that in the offseason. You have a product that could probably surpass the NBA because the NBA has been so bad, but you can't because your NHL officials are so atrocious. You've got to get them to do a better job to call. I mean, if MLB can fix the umpires, then the NHL can fix their umpires. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to do this. The consistent inconsistency of the NHL refereeing is going to destroy this league one way or another. It's a shame because there's been some great playoff series. And yes, there's going to be bad calls no matter what. But to have instant replay show a kick puck go into the net and still be called a goal, it's like, what the hell are you doing, Toronto? I mean, come on.
It's the same thing in every sport. The officials suck, and then you have the technology to fix it, and yet we don't. Like, it's the same in every sport, and it's like we bitch about the technology. Then we have too much technology involved, like with the pass interference calls. Like, you got to figure it out because it's the same shit, different day. Like, Detroit getting hosed. Then the NBA comes out, which would have sent Luka to the line to extend the Lakers' lead in Game 4 when he's tripped up and he had to call timeout.
By on his ankle.
Yeah, but the NBA that's a foul. He was
backing off. I wouldn't call that a foul.
You said then the NBA comes out and says under their 2-minute report, which, by the way, you're just snitching on the refs. Oh, yeah, the NBA 2-minute report. Oh, yeah, that was a foul they missed. That's great, giving a nice bullshit pat on the back. Sorry, Lakers, you got hosed. Oh, sorry, Detroit, you got fucked.
That was worse.
Same shit.
That was far worse.
You said it's worse, but it's still a foul because the same thing happened earlier. Same thing happened earlier in the Lakers game where the same thing around midcourt. Luka got tripped up by McDaniels up on him, and they called the foul. This one, it's not. What you called it earlier, yet you don't call it now. So it's bullshit.
Yeah, there's no consistency with that. I don't know what it is. Why the referees decide to swallow the whistle in late game playoff games in both sports. It's got to end. Unfortunately, I mean, it really. Oh, it's like the NFL with the Hail Mary. There's like 3 pass interferences on every Hail Mary, and it's never called. I wish they would start calling that. That would be fun. But WBC played a bunch of stiffs this week. We should have won. I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is
I'll let you talk a little Yankees before we wrap up.
Let me get into the Yankees here a little bit. Actually, I want to talk Mets, believe it or not, because they've played well, but I mean, let's face it, they are a product of the schedule right now. Outside of the 3 Philly games, but for some reason, Philly cannot beat the Mets. And yes, Ray Trimble, your Phillies choked again. I don't know what the hell it is that they cannot beat the Mets all of a sudden. But let's see here. The Mets have played the Marlins 6 times, the Nationals, the A's, the Twins. Yes, they've played Houston, but Houston stinks. Toronto stinks. And the Phillies. I mean, the schedule's going to get tougher now. You're going to start seeing NL West teams are going to play. They're going to play the Yankees in a couple of weeks. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to squash the Mets. Shut your mouths up once and for all. But speaking of the Yankees, I don't understand why Boone. Poor Grimace. Yeah, Grimace got cut. They got rid of Grimace. As for the Yankees, Ben Rice was excelling as the leadoff hitter for the Yankees, and Boone has to be the smartest guy in the room again, as always, and says, no, let's move him down to third, and let's put Trent Grisham, who's been a bum his entire career, let's have him lead off. And what happens? Everyone's in a slump again. The Yankees are in a little bit of a slide, blah, blah, blah. The only good news is that Luis Gil is starting to throw again, so hopefully he'll be back in mid-June. And, I mean, the American League stinks. When you look at the AL, it's like, my God, the Yankees are going to win that division by default because Boston's terrible. Baltimore has no pitching. I can't believe we lost to them last night. Toronto, they can't score to save their lives, and that's what Santander. He's gripping the bat too tight up there in Toronto. That's too bad.
That's too bad.
Who's the other team in the division? Who am I missing? Boston, Toronto. Tampa. The hell with Tampa. They stink.
Steinbrenner Field. What are you talking about?
Steinbrenner Field, where we owned that place over the last weekend. But, I mean, the AL East is terrible. Detroit actually has a good team. Can you name 3 Detroit Tigers?
Tarek Skubal, Spencer Torkelson, and
Yeah, exactly.
No. Wait a minute. Hold on. Torkelson, Tarek Skubal. Oh, Jack Flaherty. Eat my shorts.
Yeah, okay. But they have a very good team. They're starting to put it together. I can see Detroit winning that division. After the fact that I hate the Cleveland Indians. I don't call them the Indians. They're the Guardians, Guardians/Indians. The hell with them. But I see a bad future coming up for the New York Mets. You have anything else you want to add to baseball? Because I got to talk Derby for a second.
Talk Derby. I got nothing
All right.
baseball.
I just want to give you my trifecta picks for this weekend. I like Sandman. He's going off at 6-1. I also like Rodriguez. He's going off 12-1. He was the Wood Memorial winner. And you got to throw in Luxor Cafe, who for some reason is 15-1. American Pharoah studded him, and he was the last Triple Crown winner. Not the last one, but he was a Triple Crown winner back in 2015.
The fact that you can't say the horse's name right, shame on you. And that is the end of your horse talk. It's American Pharoah. Not even watch freaking.
You know what I'm talking about.
I
You
don't
don't even
watch,
know what a horse is.
You're a
I jackass.
I don't even watch the ponies. So on that note, Phil is cut off. And a big congratulations to oh gosh, what the hell is their name? I know the team's name. But the hell's the actor's name in Deadpool? What's his name? Come on.
Deadpool.
The handsome fella. Oh, come on. Yeah, not you. Oh, dang it. What's his name from Deadpool?
Yeah, I can look it up real quick.
I'm already on it.
Oh, all right.
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't think anyone's won from 17.
Ryan Reynolds. Big shout out to Ryan Reynolds in Wrexham Football Club on 3 straight promotions. Big shout out to Wrexham. They are now in the championship. They are 1 step away from the Premier League. Can't believe it, what they've turned that soccer team into. For the folks that watch, welcome to Wrexham. What a story for them. They are now in the championship. Cool shit, Ryan Reynolds and Wrexham. Champions League also today, semis, PSG beating Arsenal to go 1-0 up in aggregate heading into next week, heading to PSG in France, and then we have Inter Milan and Barcelona tomorrow. So getting a little footy in since we had to talk ponies. I love talking footy. But again, what a great show, Phil. We'll talk more playoffs next week. We'll talk a little more in baseball because we'll shove football to the side unless we have big news. But again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Of course, Karen Warren. We're going to talk about soccer, you bum. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Phil's Wi-Fi was a little bit better this week, so we're progressing.
Because I'm on my desktop, not my laptop.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back again next week.
Need my IT guy, Kenny Warren, to fix this.
Karen Warren. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Adios.